Hello, we have a very special guest today on Coffee Break. You may have seen him here before because he's been a visitor to Seabrook, but some of you may not know, and he is recently was re-elected to a second term as a sheriff for Monmouth County, and he's doing some really interesting things. So we're going to meet Sheriff Shaun Golden. Welcome to
Pleasure.
Coffee Break.
Thanks for having me, Phyllis.
It's great to have you here. You have so many responsibilities. I'm looking at the list of some of the things you do. What is your most important aspect of your job, in your opinion?
Well, listen, at the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office, it's a long-standing institution here, and I'm honored to be the 76th Sheriff of Monmouth County. Won re-election back in November, and it's really a tremendous honor, and I take great pride in it. And really, the pride is in the men and women that serve the Sheriff's Office. There's over 600 men and women.
Really? I know a few of them, and they are superior.
And we have just a dedicated bunch of individuals that really are passionate about public safety and serving the public and protecting our residents here in the county. So,
how do you do that primarily?
Well, we have the 600 sheriff's employees are broken down into really 4 major divisions. We have the communications division and the corrections division and special operations and law enforcement. So the communications, we call it the hub of the county. Our communications division houses the largest 911 center in the state of New Jersey. We process over 650,000 calls a year through the center. We have over 100 911 operators that serve the public.
May I compliment them? Sometimes it's very difficult to get in touch with government offices, and I try to get in touch with your communications
we know
person.
when it's when we call 911, they will answer the phone, and I have to say, it is one of the toughest jobs in the Sheriff's Office, and one of the toughest jobs in public safety, to be a public safety telecommunicator and answer the 911 call for help.
Tell us about these 600 employees. How are they broken down?
Well, so over 100 are communications operators, and they work in that 911 center. Over 300 corrections officers work in the corrections division, which that's our Monmouth County Correctional Institution. It's one of the largest in the state of New Jersey. We house over 900 inmates. It's a 1,300 bed facility located in Freehold. And that is where we keep all of our inmates and all of those that are awaiting trial or have been sentenced to a year or less. And so that facility has really had some recognition, not only in the state of New Jersey, but throughout the country as being one of the best facilities.
So when we read in the newspaper that there are certain persons are awaiting trial,
are in jail, that would be
where they are.
In the Monmouth County,
under your supervision.
The Monmouth County Sheriff's Office Correctional Facility. And so, there's over 300 officers there. And then we have over 100 law enforcement officers in the law enforcement division. And there's various aspects to the law enforcement division. We have civil process. If you have any wage garnishment, writs, foreclosures, any of those issues that come from the court and that people are dealing with.
You enforce those too?
We do. We do. And then we have our warrant division. So if a judge issues a warrant for your arrest because you haven't shown up for court or the court wants you for some other reason, we have a whole warrant division that goes out and seeks those that are wanted and bring them back to justice and await trial. So, and then there's other units, the K-9 being one of them.
Let's hear about the K-9.
Yeah, well, everybody's a fan of the K-9 units. Listen, we have 8 K-9s. They all do somewhat different things. We have 2 explosive dogs, and then we have a bloodhound, which does a lot of tracking for us, and then we have narcotics dogs.
And they're really well trained, and they really help you?
They are really well trained. They run around our headquarters, our public safety center, and they really do well. We do a lot of K-9 demonstrations with our young adults and children, and but for the most part, they're very active. They're in and out of all of the 53 towns in the county. And really, it's a cooperative effort with the 48 police departments.
Sounds
that
like a
we
lot
deal
of
with.
responsibility for everyone,
Yeah.
especially for you. What's your background, Sheriff?
So I'm a lifelong resident here in Monmouth County. I grew up in the county in Matawan and Colts Neck, and I live in Howell with my family, my wife and 2 kids. And I attended St. John Vianney High School, and I went to Brookdale Community College for an associate, and Monmouth University for my bachelor's degree. And I currently teach at Monmouth U now. This is my 12th year as an adjunct professor at Monmouth U. Very much. I very much enjoy it. I enjoy giving it back and paying it forward. You know, all the students that come through, we do a lot of internships at the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office, and we employ some of those students from Monmouth University as interns.
What a great thing. I've used interns in my public relations business, and they're such enthusiastic people, and I imagine working for law enforcement.
Very valuable, and it's quite a learning experience with an operation and organization this big. And so
some of them just stay or hope to stay.
They do. And then I graduated from the Monmouth County Police Academy, and I've been in law enforcement and public safety. I was a paramedic for Monarch for over 15 years. And
you look too young. That's why for your background.
And so I've been in public safety, you know, my whole career. And that's why when I had an opportunity to run for sheriff, I absolutely valued that opportunity.
What made you run for sheriff, though, of all the things you could have done?
Well, I think it was my passion, really, for public safety and growing up in the county and seeing how public safety has evolved in Monmouth County here. And we are fortunate. We live in a great county here in Monmouth. It's a beautiful county. It's the 3rd largest county in the state of New Jersey, and in population and size, and there's a lot to watch over. And so when I had an opportunity,
we're quite diverse, aren't we, in our population?
It is diverse, and you know, it's funny when I drive around with some of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, and you know, we could be up in Keyport or down in Brielle, or all the way out into Allentown, you know, and so
large area to cover.
When you look at the area and the complexities, you know, it really is a challenge.
Is there something you like best about your job?
Best about my job? I don't know. I just enjoy really serving the residents here in the county. But I will say, probably one of the better things is being able to build up our technology and work with all of the other law enforcement agencies to meet some of the challenges that we've had.
There has to be a lot of cooperation between your office.
Very cooperative effort, and we've had challenges, and we continue to have challenges. You know, we have a heroin epidemic in the state of New Jersey.
I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Every time I read in the Asbury Park Press where you've gone in and got them, you seem to be very much on top of it. But it is a very big problem in our county, which I think a lot of people don't realize. They think of us as maybe a little more affluent, a little more educated, and yet it is a problem. Let's talk about that.
So, Phil, you said something interesting about affluence, and we really are. When you look at, we're again, we're ranking in that 3, but we're the 3rd most affluent county in the state of New Jersey. And therein lies some of the problems that I tell our parents when we go out and meet the PTA, the prosecutor, Chris Gramiccioni, and I, along with the Chiefs Association. You know, we do a lot of education programs, and when we speak with parents, we say, listen, our household median income here in Monmouth County is $82,400. Not my stat, that's the census stat. And so our sons and our daughters have the means, and they're targets. They're targets by drug dealers. That they have money, and they know it. The drug dealers know it. They come down from the cities. And you know, we're in between Philadelphia and New York City, and so
prime spot.
And so you know, unfortunately, we have Monmouth and Ocean County are prime locations for the heroin distribution and dealer. And so you know, we continue to work with all our partners in Monmouth and Ocean and the state, and all of our local partners to really come together and fight this heroin epidemic. And it's an epidemic.
You're making progress, though.
It's a multi-pronged approach. It's progress. Listen, any one death is too many. We've had over 130 last year of overdose deaths in the county. What
about the use of Narcan? I know some of the some of the companies.
Again, Monmouth and Ocean led the way in being the first to carry Narcan.
Does it work?
All of my officers. It works. You know, here's the thing. We've saved a lot of lives with Narcan since its inception. We've had over 430 saves of Narcan just last year. And so that number continues to build year over year. But, you know, I'll give you an idea, out of that Narcan deployment, 36 times it didn't work. And so those were 36 overdose deaths where Narcan
There's still a very
work.
real and present danger then.
There really is. So we continue to look at interrupting the supply of heroin. Narcan to me is very reactive. It's saving lives.
Is it expensive?
It's expensive, but listen, we've gotten some grants through Health and Human Services and some other areas so that we can deploy it in every police car in the county. And so the first responders are carrying the Narcan, which is a good thing.
If you save one life, it's important.
Save one life, it's great. But you know, with the heroin, it's a multi-pronged approach. And you know, and you say, what can seniors do? What can adults do? Lock your meds up. I mean, we talk about prescription meds. Prescription med abuse is the second really leading cause of overdose in our young adults. So, you know, we have heroin and we have prescription meds and the abuse of prescription meds. And so we have to take better care and custody and custodian of those prescription medicines. You know, if you're not using them, discard them.
Well, we have a wonderful discard program here at Seabrook.
And we've taken that. You know, in Monmouth County, the Sheriff's Office was the first to have a discard box in the Sheriff's Office. Then other police departments have followed suit and have discard boxes. This year we're going mobile with the discard box, so that when we run the Mobile County Connection, which is a great way, we go out to a lot of our community centers and our senior centers with mobile county government. And the Sheriff's Office is included with that. It's a great program with the surrogate. Rosemary Peters talks about, our surrogate talks about wills and probate and adoptions, and our county clerk talks about, you know, elections and passports and, you know, offers those services. In the Sheriff's Office, we offer our programs with the Identidult cards, but also we're going to take the mobile dispenser with us, so that if you have prescription meds, you bring them right to the Mobile County Connection.
That is great.
And we'll
while we're
dispose of them.
Speaking of something that the seniors can do, how else do you protect the seniors, since we're listening?
Sure,
by all of them.
Well, you heard me mention one of the programs that we have is the Identidult card. We have a number of programs and geared toward protecting our seniors. And Identidult is one. It's a valuable ID card that you can get. Again, we take it mobile. We've been here at Seabrook multiple times, you know, and we have staff here that are able to provide those cards. And on those cards are all the important information, you know, your name and your address, but more importantly, your medication, your doctors, your, you know, any illnesses and any allergies. And so it's a card that you have handy, so if there's a medical emergency, the first responders know that you have the card and are able to look at all the information.
I didn't get mine yet. They offer it here.
We do, and so
I'm going to have to get it.
We're going to have to get it, and so that's just, you know, listen, the other really on the rise is fraud and telemarketing fraud and internet fraud targeting seniors. And so we run a whole program on telemarketing fraud, how to avoid getting your information stolen and how to avoid, you know, those types of phishing schemes with the internet.
You're talking right to me. I've had, first of all, I get those phone calls.
Everybody,
telling me that I have a lot of money waiting for me. I just have to provide information, which of course I don't do. But they do target seniors, and seniors that perhaps are a little more affluent, and they know how to get our information.
Sure.
That's what's so puzzling. How did they get a hold of the information,
That's
Sheriff?
it. And so we come in and we run these telemarketing fraud classes and teach our seniors how to protect their personal information and how not to answer those phone calls or those emails that may have those schemes, those phishing schemes in it.
And intelligence has nothing to do with it. I know some of the brightest people that have gotten phone calls and have fallen for it. So it's very important. Why don't you repeat that?
So that's definite. And then we have the STORM program, Seniors Taking on Readiness Measures. This was developed out of our emergency management team in the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office after Sandy. You know, Superstorm Sandy really devastated our area. in
Oh,
Monmouth
yeah.
County along the shore. We evacuated some 75,000 residents
Where do
during
we
Storm
put
Sandy.
them? To different
Well,
places?
they most had family members and friends they could go
Yeah.
to, or hotels to stay in, or some other means. But those that didn't have those means, about 6,000 plus, we sheltered. And so we sheltered over at Monmouth University, and we sheltered over at Brisbane and Wall. And that included pets too, very challenging. And
That is
but one of the
important.
things that we identified while we were doing those evacuations during Sandy was our senior population. They needed more information. They needed to be a little bit more prepared. And so Mike Opegard came up with a great program. It's called STORM. Seniors taking on readiness measures. We've been in and out of just about every senior center and development, Four Seasons, Seabrook, a covered bridge, you name it. And we've been putting on the program about how seniors can prepare for an event, some type of emergency event. And,
How do they receive this information? Do you
Well,
think you make a dent?
We do. I really do. Well, they have homework, so it's interesting. That program secured a grant where we have readiness kits, and in that kit is water supply, flashlights, battery-operated
Emergency
flashlight,
kits.
radio, blankets, all this. It's a kit that you would buy at a retail store, and so we received grants. But in order to dispense the kit and give the participant a kit, you have to do your homework. You have to fill out the card that has all your information, what you would do, who you would call during a storm. Do you have enough prescriptions, your bank, all that information that you would need. If you have a pet, who the veterinarian is and who your doctor is and who your pharmacy is and all of those kind of things that, so we know that that resident is better prepared. So if we ask them to evacuate or we ask them to shelter in place, they're ready to do so.
They're ready.
Yeah.
You really have our backs.
We try. We do try there.
What do you like the best about your work? It's so diversified. I'm sure you never have a dull moment.
It really is. Probably the best is just getting out and doing those educational programs and knowing that whether it's teaching 911 to first graders on how to access the 911 system to protecting our seniors and really the whole population in between is knowing that you go out there week after week and you're educating the public on safety and preparedness, and you hope that they're ready. And to me, I use the word hope. Hope is not a plan for us at the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office. We plan and we prepare for the worst, and that's what we do. But we want our residents to be cognizant of the fact that they need to be a good participating citizen as well in the process.
Take part
and protect themselves.
Right. Now, I have some notes here that your assistant, your wonderful communications person, what's her title? Cynthia?
Cynthia Scott, our public information officer at the Monmouth
terrific.
County Sheriff's Office.
And she says that throughout the past several years, you've worked on numerous public safety initiatives. You have told us about some.
Yeah.
And actually, the safety of our residents is primary importance to you. What about the epidemic proportions of opiates? I don't want to leave that yet. It really is a problem, but I just think that so many people, particularly in this environment, feel, oh, it can't be us, it's not us. But it's not true.
We see that a lot. The prosecutor and I, when we visit and do some programs and to PTAs or
So you try to
teacher
make everybody
associations.
aware.
We do. We try to make everybody aware. I mean, education is just one prong. We talked about enforcement and trying to cut off the supply. That's done in multiple ways. We have a whole narcotics task force set up with undercover officers and officers that are tied in with the FBI and the Drug Enforcement Agency, and we try to short circuit the supply. But that's only one prong. Education's another one. Right. Prescription drug
that
abuse.
Was what I was going to ask
that's
you
another
about.
one.
I think a lot of us are not aware that prescription drugs can get people into a lot of trouble.
Yeah. And so when we talk about opiates, a lot of that stems from just the basic. When people have surgeries and they're given some type of opiate or muscle relaxer, listen, that is a feeder into the larger problem of heroin. And what you should know, and no one's immune, is that, particularly with our seniors and our demographic, is that if that grandchild comes over, or and sees medications that they can maybe experiment with, you can't leave them out in the open. And so, that's why we run a whole program about guarding your meds,
right. Under lock and key.
Locking them. Make sure you have the inventory and that you're cleaning them out if you're not using them, because it really
I noticed
is.
that there are several public service announcements that I see on television, and what it shows is a grandchild
That's right.
visiting a grandparent, opening the medicine chest
It's
when
access.
they use the bathroom,
Yeah.
and helping themselves. So that's something that really is important, because a lot of us have visitors, young visitors, and if we make it easy for them, they're going to take advantage of it, right?
That's correct. And so if any message comes out
Right.
of this, it's certainly to lock up your meds and discard the ones that you don't use.
Now, what is your reach out to students? You have something called Student Ambassadors for Heroin Prevention.
Yeah, so you heard me, education is another
Right.
approach. So we go out to the PTAs and we talk to parents. But then, this past year, I said to the staff, and I kind of challenged the staff, I said, listen, we do all these meetings with parents.
Who usually would say, not my kid, but it is,
and then I said, listen, we really need to hear from the leaders, the peer leadership from the various high schools, to see what they bring to the table. What kind of ideas do they have about combating the substance abuse and really the heroin epidemic that we have. And so we, this past October, gathered up all the leaders from various high school districts and Brookdale Community College, brought them into our facility as student ambassadors, had breakout sessions with some really expertise people in the field,
so
from
the
the drug
youth
enforcement.
themselves who are at risk are the solution too.
They are the solution. Then they gave us an earful about what happens in the high schools.
Right.
But it was an eye-opening experience, I think, for a lot of law enforcement officials, including the sheriff.
Do you find the kids are willing, or do they feel like they're squealing?
Yeah. No, I think they're willing to learn about it, and I think they're willing to give us ideas on how to attack it. And they certainly did. So we're actually planning another one coming up within the next 2 months here. So it's going to be fantastic.
What about terror attacks? We are hearing more about them. We're seeing them more.
So Homeland Security is always an issue, and it's at the forefront. Listen, we see terrorism around the world. We see active shooters, here in the United States. And so one of the things that probably is very challenging for the law enforcement community is not just the response, but preparation in dealing with our critical infrastructure and all of our houses of worship, our schools. People don't realize that we have 14 train stations in Monmouth County, 3 ferry terminals, 4 major bus depots, along Route 9. I mean, we have a lot of transit, and then we have the largest outdoor retail mall right here next door, in the factory outlets, and then we have the second largest indoor mall in Freehold Raceway Mall. And so all of that is a lot to, and then we have over 133 schools in the county.
Have we had any real serious threats?
Listen, I mean, you just see what happened down in Ocean County when they had a bombing during, a simple marathon. And so, any places that we have those kind of critical infrastructure targets, we continue to work with all of those agencies, local, our state agencies, our federal agencies, county agencies, to make sure that we can best protect those areas and be able to respond if there's some type of incident there.
You also are reaching out to drivers. Some of our residents, a lot of them, still drive, very reluctant to give up their cars.
Sure.
But there is a danger there, potential danger, is there not?
There is. When we talk about the challenges, and certainly heroin and Homeland Security, traffic and driving is, Monmouth County, since I grew up here, has become more congested. We've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
It's become more populated. We had about 47 fatalities last year on the roads in Monmouth County. That's too many. And so we do a number of programs, one targeted at seniors to come in, again, educate our seniors about safe driving, about how they can do it more safely. And we also have distracted driving that we go into high schools and talk to all of the students about our distracted driving. You know, it's the number one really killer. I just saw a stat coming out of highway traffic safety. Out of all the fatalities last year, 68% of the fatalities were due to distracted driving and really text messaging and cell phone use.
Really,
Yeah.
and it's so hard to get that across,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It really is. And
Because
so,
it's so tempting when you got a message on your cell,
yeah,
on your
and so we
cell
go
phone.
in and out of the schools and educate all our young adults that are either driving or coming into their driving period where they're going to be taking their test, and you know, we educate them about the dangers of distracted driving.
Well, we could go on and on with the very important programs that you carry on in the Sheriff's Department. And what's your number one priority now as we go forward?
So our number one priority, it's, you know, I hate to put a number one on anything. You know,
Well, let's say a high
my
priority.
my goals for the next term as sheriff is to continue to provide the best technology for our public safety service, so that I know our police officers and our firefighters and our EMS systems have the best at their fingertips, and you know, that helps response, and that they're well prepared and they have all the equipment they need. You know, secondary to that, obviously, is the challenges we mentioned. We'll continue to fight this heroin epidemic and in any way that we can. And again, it's a multi-pronged approach with a lot of agencies and a lot of personnel attached to it. And you know, again, just guarding against our any type of homeland security threats. And so, you know, those are really my top priorities coming into my next term.
So you're the number one cop, right?
Yeah. So,
well, we thank you so much
Phyllis,
for
thank
sharing.
you so much for having me.
Sharing this with us. And we hope you'll come back. Maybe next time you'll come, you'll bring one of your canine dogs.
Sure. They're always a hit. They're always a hit.
We love that.
Yeah, so.
And I want to thank you so much for joining us, Sheriff Shaun Golden, elected by a large majority to his second term as Sheriff of Monmouth County.
Appreciate it.
You do a great job, and we hope that we can help you. And programs like this, I think, give opportunities to everybody, no matter what their age, no matter what their occupation, no matter what their problems, to your office, and we appreciate that.
Great.
So you come back.
Yeah, a safe and happy New Year to all.
Thank you, and to you and your staff, your big staff.
Thanks.
Okay, that's it. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back soon.